Yo, it's my birthday today, and it's a great time for me to think about what the heck I am doing. Now, you might think I have it all figured out, but I don't. I am, however, working on it. So let me give you a peek into what's actually going on inside my brain, and I also have a special birthday wish just for you. Welcome to the Monique on the Mic podcast. I'm your host, Monique B. Thomas. This show is your go-to resource for professional and aspiring singers. Every Monday, join me for solo episodes and insightful interviews where I share real artist stories, practical strategies, and mindset shifts. Whether you're just starting out or already on your journey, you'll find the tools you need to transform your vocal path and feel supported. I keep it real, I keep it funny, and it's always useful and up to date. Let's get into it. So I'm 49, y'all. 49 years old. It's not quite 50, but it's definitely not 40. And so there's a lot that goes into my mindset, my mind shift. I mean, I'm already seeing myself in my 50s, if you will, because I'm so far from 40, right? And there's a lot that's been changing recently. One thing that's been changing is in the past, I just thought of every year as just a series of 12 months. But as I'm focusing and changing my focus to trying to reach people that actually need my help, the people that actually need what I have to give, I'm a bit more business minded. And so I'm thinking of the year in terms of quarters. So the end of June, which is my birthday is actually on June 29th, and this is coming out on Monday, I think July 1st. But it's, the end of the second quarter, which is also the first half of the year. And I saw something in one of the newsletters I get, because I subscribe to other newsletters, because I'm always trying to learn from different people. What I heard was we could think of the end of the second quarter as a new January. January is where we set our yearly goals and we have our intentions and we do things, we get things in place, and somewhere along the line we kind of fall off because life be lifing and just things happen. But we can always reset. And I think that's an important mentality to keep, because what tends to happen is when we set a goal and then if we fall off, then we beat ourselves up and then we say, well, it's no use. I've already, I already lost my consistency, so I might as well just let it go. And that's actually the wrong attitude to have. You can always get back on a horse once you've fallen off. So I'm looking at this 6-month period that's gone by, this half of the year, and I'm thinking, what have I done with my time? Am I reaching my goals? Is what I'm doing working? And so one of the things that I'm really looking at is, like I said earlier, trying to get more in touch with the people that actually need and want my help. See, I know I'm not for everybody, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. That's one of the benefits of getting older, is that you realize that it's not a popularity contest. It's more about building communities of like-minded people where we share things in common and I can service a certain group of people. Anyway, there's 8 billion people on the planet. I'm not supposed to service everybody. There's going to be somebody for those other people that don't get into what I do. So my thought right now is this working? I have the weekly newsletter. I have the weekly podcast. I have my students. I post certain things on social media. I'm not heavy on it, but I do post regularly, at least once or twice a week. And my thing is, am I making a big enough impact? Am I getting in touch with the people that need to know who I am so that I can help them with the things that I'm an expert at? And I don't know. I know I'm making some headway, but my thought is, what else could I be doing? Are there things I could be doing better? Are there things I could be doing more of? And at the same time, I do want feedback from you, so don't hesitate to write to me at info@moniquebthomas.com if you have some suggestions. There are also things that I do not want to do, and I want to clarify. In the past, I gave a lot of vocal technique information online. I wouldn't say a lot, but I had given some. And I'm going to stop doing that because I think it can be easily misconstrued. A lot of times people take that technical information and they misapply it. And so misapplied information no longer is useful or helpful. What I know about vocal technique is that in order to apply it correctly, you need another set of ears, expert ears that are going to help you apply it at the right time in the right situations. The other thing is, when we give out vocal technique information, it's usually very generic. And so not every exercise is meant for everybody in their particular stage or in their journey, in their singing journey. And so I just think it's a little bit irresponsible to give out that information. My thought is that dealing with students and their voices, we kind of have the same standard as a doctor in the sense that we have to do no harm. So I don't want to give out information that is potentially harmful for people, because that can set you back quite a bit of time if you're doing the wrong exercises. I would prefer to reiterate the fact that when it comes to studying and getting your voice together, you need help. You just do. There's no way to sugarcoat that. And so one of the shifts in my messaging is that I'm being very clear on what I do and what I do not do. Of course, I do teach vocal technique, but I teach it on a one-to-one personal basis. And so I don't want to be out here giving out false information or information that's going to be misused, misconstrued, or misunderstood. I would prefer to keep things in the context of what's going on with your personal voice. Another thing that is on my mind is where I'm at, particularly in my vocal journey. If you listen to me or you read my newsletter, you know that I am a pedagogue and that I love teaching people, but I am also an artist, and I tour and I do things all over the world, and I'm very pleased and I'm very blessed to be able to do that. But where I'm at in my journey is actually a great place. This is probably the first time in my life that I can say I am absolutely in love with my voice. And I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm really in love with my ability to be able to execute with, I would say, 95% accuracy, the ideas that I hear in my head. Can I tell you how much joy that brings to me? Because I have a lot to say and I'm whimsical in my musical approach. If I sing the same repertory over and over again, I'm never going to sing it the same way. And so that my instrument has to be able to respond to that very quickly. And so I'm just really pleased because the work that I've done with my personal friend and mentor and vocal coach, Greg Enriquez, since 2009 has led me to this place where the crazy ideas I hear in my head, I can execute them. Now, man, can I just tell you, I had gone through so much frustration with my instrument. I had a lot of different vocal issues, and I'll be transparent because I think being transparent with my journey can help you perhaps feel a little bit better about your journey. Maybe like probably 8 years ago, I was diagnosed with a cyst on my vocal cords, and things kind of came to almost a grinding halt because that's rather serious. Getting a cyst removed on your vocal cords is way more invasive than getting a nodule removed, because you actually have to cut into the body of the cord. It's not on the surface, but it's actually in underneath. So the thought of doing that was very scary for me, and I decided not to get it done, especially since it's a rather small one. And so I've worked extensively with Greg in order to make it so that the cyst actually gets out of the way and it doesn't hinder my singing. And in fact, you would never know that I have this cyst on my vocal cords. So, there's that battle there. There's a battle I had with acid reflux that was more than a 15-year battle. I no longer have acid reflux. I would say the only thing about the cyst is probably that my voice can sometimes be a little bit more fragile. If I get sick, then it takes a little extra care. But because of the work that I've done with Greg on so many levels and over so many years, it makes it so that I'm keenly aware of the things that I need to do to adjust to how my voice is functioning on that particular day. Now, perhaps had I not had that cyst that occurred, and this cyst was a culmination of health issues and stress and some other things, but had I not had that cyst, perhaps my awareness of my body and my voice wouldn't be as acute as it is today. So even though it can be a drag, I'm actually grateful for it because I know exactly what's going on with my voice at all times. I have such a very keen understanding and feeling for, if my voice is slightly off as soon as I wake up in the morning. And so it's kind of a bit of a blessing in disguise because it's made it so that I didn't have a choice to get my stuff together as it pertained to my vocal technique. Sometimes, if I'm having like allergies or let's say my cords are a little puffy because there's a virus going around, my margin of error is very little. So it might come down to either I can sing or I can't sing at all. And so that means I have to get the technique right. I can't play around with it. And in the beginning, that seemed like a drag, but eventually what wound up happening is I realized, hey, okay, well, I've got to get this technique right. And now this technique is so right, it's working for me. The artist in me that's a little kooky and a little crazy, that wants to do all these things and that's rangy and not only that has a lot of range, but I like to use a lot of different nuances with volume. I can do all these things finally, you know. The intonation is there. I've got the spinning vibrato. It gives me so much joy to go on stage, to be able to do what I want, and to be able to connect with the audience and connect with the musicians because I'm not worried about what's going to happen with my voice. I wish the same thing for you. It took me so long to get here. I mean, I'll be honest with you, at 49, I'm singing better than I've ever sung in my entire life. And I'm really proud of it because I did a lot of work. I worked my ass off. I have. With Greg, I've worked my butt off to get to this place. And it just frees me up so much. So my birthday wish to you is that you all get to a place where your instrument is doing exactly what you want it to do and that it's something sustainable, that you have jobs that, when I say jobs, I mean working, singing engagements that feed your soul and your bank account because everybody got to eat, that you're respected when you are going somewhere, that people treat you with respect and they pay you the way you're supposed to be paid, that you have the opportunity to play with A-list musicians, that you get to see the world, and that your artistry gets to take up space in this world because we need art. One thing I know from traveling along around the world is that art means that we have humanity. As soon as we lose art, we lose the connection with each other. Really, and that might sound dramatic, but think about what happened during the lockdown where people couldn't just freely go out and see a movie or freely go out and hear live music. People took all their art online. And so even though it's not exactly the same as seeing things in real life, there was still a way to get in touch with humanity through people's art. And so I wish that for you. I want you to get to a place where you are happy with your art and you are feeling free and you can share that with other people because people need it. Life is so tough right now. Another thing I'd like to talk about is the lessons that I've learned over the years. And, as someone who's knocking on the door of 50, there's a lot going on in my brain. And there are two lessons that I realize that I have to tinker with right now. I have to sit with right now. And the first one is grace. I wish the younger me gave myself grace. Grace for all the mistakes that I made and will make. Grace for not believing in myself. It's kind of been nice because I had to turn my phone off because I'm doing this podcast, and the outpour of love and birthday wishes that I have received in just a few hours is astonishing to me. Because I'm doing what I do because I love what I do. I love being in this artistic world and helping other people out. But you never really know what kind of impact you have on other people. And so on this one particular day, which is my day, even though I share it with a lot of other people, it feels really good to know that what I'm putting out there actually does make a difference. And so on those days where I'm kind of down on myself, I'm wishing I just over the years I gave myself more grace. I've got to stop being so hard on myself. And I'm telling you this because I think that's a typical thing for artists. I think we tend to beat ourselves up heavily, heavily, heavily all the time. We are our worst critic, which, in my opinion, means that we are probably hypercritical of other people as well. So, learning grace, I think grace for yourself first, is going to help me be more empathetic to other people's struggles because I think we're all out here struggling. I don't think anybody has it together. I think some people just look good with their struggle. I think some people, have a little struggle swag, and others are just a hot mess. But I think we're all kind of a hot mess, and we're all kind of flailing and flapping around in the wind. And we're just trying to do our best. And like Maya Angelou said, when we know better, we do better. But grace, I want you, that's another birthday wish. I want you to give yourself some grace for the things that you know you could be doing, or should be doing. In fact, I want you to take that word out of your vocabulary, should. Shoulding yourself to say, I should do this, I should do that. Should is a judgment. Let's just say, I could do this. I have the possibility to do this. And when you're ready, you'll do it. The other thing that I want to learn is, this is a hard one. It's patience. I am so impatient. Like, I want everything yesterday, like last week, like last year, last decade. Patience. The truth is, everything takes time. The hardest part with the patience is that you're doing the work to get something done, but it takes a long time for you to actually see evidence that that work actually works or actually matters. So I like to think of it as, if you plant any sort of plant or tree, before anything pushes up above ground, you have the roots that grow. And depending on what you're working on, it can take an awful lot of time for those roots to solidify and really get rooted, if you will, before anything pops up above ground. And man, I struggle with that. There's so many things I want to do. There's so many people I want to reach. I'm really trying to figure this thing out about my business. I'm an artist, so business is rough for me. It's not, something that I find naturally easy. I find naturally easy talking with people and working with people, but making a business of it is a little bit more challenging for me. And I'm working on it, and I'm willing to learn. But man, it is hard. It is so hard doing something and not seeing the physical feedback that what you're doing is working. So it's like, that's what faith is. I have to just have faith and trust the process that the things I'm doing, the people I'm trying to reach, the things I'm learning, the things I'm putting in place are all for a greater good, and they are going to make a difference. So I'm so thankful for all of you that have poured out and wished me already a happy birthday. It 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 really touches me more than you'll ever know. It really, really does, and I feel blessed about that. And in return, the only thing I think that I can do is to continue to show up and be as authentic as possible, which means a little bit of vulnerability. I'm not perfect. I'm so far from being perfect. I've made so many mistakes. So many things are embarrassing to me. But I realize that when I share those embarrassing things, I help to release you from some of your shame and embarrassment. See, I can't even talk. It helps to release you from shame and embarrassment because you can say, oh my God, me too. Oh my God, I did that as well. And, I felt like crap, but here she is putting herself out there. And I don't know, maybe only 100 people will hear this or less. But I am sharing it because I want you to know that you are not alone in your mess up. You're not alone in being a hot mess. You're not alone in not feeling good about yourself. You're not alone in shoulding yourself or feeling like you're not where you think you should be. You're not alone in all of that. You really, really are not. But what I will say is, I think it is time for us to be patient and give ourselves a little bit more grace. I think if we can all do that, I think everybody will be, I think it's like the pressure that's on everybody, I think it would go down a lot if we could just be more patient with ourselves, with others, and also give ourselves grace. Well, that is it for me for today's episode because even though it's my birthday, I still have to work. I'm going out there to sing and enjoy doing what I do. I absolutely love where I'm at. And so I'm going to go kill it on my birthday. If you've enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to subscribe and leave a review wherever you listen to podcasts. If you're really liking what I'm throwing down, you'll love my Mike Masters newsletter. For information on how to work with me and to sign up for my newsletter, visit www.moniquebthomas.com. That's www.moniquebthomas.com. Musically, Monique.